Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with the lovely Janine Morgeau, and we have the intuitive insights for you today. And we have a lot, I have a lot planned for you. And Janine, using her intuitive skills, is going to tap into her side of the situation. So I have the things that I feel, and she kind of like, taps into it, and we see what the source, downloads for us.
Mhm.
So I have a lot. So we're going to jump around today. You're going to see a lot of different stuff, and you're like, "Wow, you guys are all over the map." And that's kind of the way we intuitives are, and because we're tapped into everything. And if something comes into our consciousness, we just kind of focus on it, and ooh, okay, that's what that is. And then the next minute, we're focused on something else. Like when I came home from the gym, I'm like, "Oh, I need to eat a couple of dates because I'm low on potassium." It just came to me. So I ate a couple of dates, and I don't normally eat dates. So, that's kind of the way we are. Uh,
Yeah.
and before that, I was focusing, okay, what questions I'm going to have for Janine. And so, and I'm writing down questions like, oh, I need to do a couple of dates. I need low potassium. So we're
Mhm.
all over the map, and it's fun. This is what we want to do to help inspire you guys so that you, not necessarily that you're all over the map and scatterbrain, but that you're tapping into the same type of information that we are. And when we present it, you're like, oh, I was thinking the same thing. Oh, that's the way I thought, So then it confirms for you, some of the stuff that we're tapping into. And not
Mhm.
that we get everything right, although we've been, I think, 99.9%, accurate between the two of us. The only time was what I thought, I kind of like threw it out there that, oh, I think you were in this lifetime. And she's like, no, I set that one out. So,
Wow.
I didn't do research on that one. So if I had, I would have felt that out as well. So that was a good indicator that, we're not just like, you know, high-fiving each other and saying, yeah, you're right, whatever you say, it's not like that at all. Where I'm kind of, I got a good feel for something. And then Janine, like I said, is going to back it up. So Janine, are you ready? You ready to jump
I'm
in?
ready.
All right.
Yep.
So the intuitive insights, here they come. Okay, so what is Mr. T? What is his stand on the cure and why? So we've seen him kind of bounce around on this. I've heard reports where he's like, maybe not so much, and then other reports where he's like, you should have free choice, and then he promotes it. So where exactly is he at? A lot of people are kind of confused on that. I feel pretty comfortable where he's at, but let's give people some insights.
Wow. Right off the bat, sitting on the fence here
Hmm.
and really believing in the choice of others too with this card. So
Wow.
it's like he's probably got one foot on each side of the fence for various different reasons. So he's not firmly over here in this camp or over here in this camp. And it looks like he knows something. So this is in the middle. So this card, this guy's really wise. He knows something maybe we don't know. So that could put him on like where he could sit the fence and be more comfortable, not being firmly on one side or the other. So he knows things we don't know about it.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's interesting because we think we know, especially truthers and anti, these people that are anti that no matter what.
Right.
Okay, they think they know things, and then of course the people that believe in it think they know things, but he knows things neither of us camps know. That's what I get from that. Okay, so that's interesting, and he goes back and forth because he has reasons for it that don't have anything to do with politics. Actually, they are more psychological. I feel like they might be pulling off some psychological situation in the background where they're trying to just see what humans are going to do with this, or what are the people going to do with that. So there's these deeper reasons that have nothing to do with it's a good thing or a bad thing, because he seems to know beyond what we know about it, if that makes any sense. He
Oh,
knows it can be stepped back, it looks like. He knows things can be taken back from the dreariness, although I know some people will never be taken back because they left the earth plane. But
mhm.
I feel like a certain amount of people had to learn that way. I know that sounds brutal, but when you're in a spiritual war situation and you're trying to literally save the planet, I have a feeling that things like that are going to happen, where you're going to have to let a few things go. Like you can't save every single human, especially from their own self and choices. Right? So he's got all of these really complicated reasons for doing what he does. And he doesn't literally firmly sit on one side or the other. I think he might know things we don't know about it. And that's creating him to be sitting on that fence the way he is.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And the warrior aspect is good because I know that a lot of people come into a lifetime, and sometimes they're not even born. They'll come into a lifetime and they, they're maybe aborted, and that's to work with a soul on certain things, or maybe they're born and then they pass on. So we're seeing that souls are coming in and that are passing on from this cure thing. And I think that a lot of people have made that choice. So I'm not getting too wrapped up in it. I'm just observing it, probably like he's doing. He knows, and I know a lot more that's going on behind the scenes that can't be revealed. As you know, that some of the cards won't tell us because it's not something that we can focus on. Otherwise, it'll get things too much out of whack, and people get spun up too much in the wrong direction. So, and it's not that we're trying to be deceitful or anything like that. It's that you're letting consciousness of the humanity make its own course, and then ultimately, if it reaches a higher level of consciousness, then everyone knows that we have done this on our own instead of someone coming to save it, which is not going to happen this time. It won't happen. So people need to get off of that fence, that waiting for someone to come and save them, and be actively involved in some kind of capacity. All right, that's fantastic. And so we're going to bounce into that a little bit more in another direction, but for now, we're going to kind of go way off in another direction. Some of the stuff that we've been talking about with Jean-Claude and the Secret Space Program. Will the Venusians be part of the, and I hate to call them ET, I just call them beings. Let's call them beings. Be part of the reveal, and when? Is it soon? Is it a little bit further out? Venusians, I believe, are, we look at planet Venus, part of the zodiac. When you look at look at the stars and go, what's my future? We look at the planet Venus as a planet of love. So I think that's part of what they're trying to bring in.
And both your sun sign and mine are ruled by Venus, so that's interesting.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, because aren't you a Libran?
Yes, Libra. You're a Libran too?
No, I'm a Taurus, but Taurus and Libra are both ruled by Venus.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Okay,
cool.
So we've got surrender to, so are they? So they can't, for some reason, they're held up to do so just yet. So right at this moment. And then coming. So the time for them to come, so it's really soon with that ace. So within the year, aces are within the year. And this card it's like they're working on when's a good time to come. So they're checking in with it on a daily basis. We got an 80% card with that. So they're getting really close. So 80% of the year would already be up. So within a year, 80% of the year is already gone for them, whatever that means. So that sounds like in the next 20% of a year. Does that make any sense? Yeah. And they're waiting. They have to wait for permission or something, is what it feels like. So that it feels like they're needing a communication and a flow between humans and them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's what a lot of us have been saying. Michelle Fielding, who I talked with, she talks about how there's a percentage that needs to be reached, and she felt that it was reached. So we're in that 80%, 80 percentile, I believe. Even though a lot of us, like we were just talking about, have differing opinions of the cure and what's going to happen if you get it. I think the consciousness really determines that. If you're a very high consciousness, I mean, we could throw a bubonic plague at you and you're like going to continue to go through life, So and we're both in agreement that this is not a mass extinction event. So but that some people, like we talk about, or have chosen to do have chosen to help enlighten people. And so I think we're going to see that, yeah, that was a bit for some people.
Yeah.
It was very bad, and they knew that and kept that to themselves so they could, make more money or whatever they're doing with that thing. So that's fantastic. So we're kind of like on the same sheet of music with that. I think, Janine, that you're a Venusian too. So you want to look at the cards and see?
Ooh, okay. Yeah, let's check it out.
Yeah, I had a strong feeling for that, but I'm not always right, as we know. So let's see what that says.
Well, I've never looked at that, so this will be interesting.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. Oh, I got total shivers. Oh my goodness. Okay. So it looks like I was on that planet for a really, really, really long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm ancient time Venetian, I guess,
Absolutely. Yeah.
because that's really ancient. And I spent a lot of time developing, maybe that's why I don't consciously remember, because I spent lifetimes there and now I'm really involved in being a human.
Right.
But a really long time ago I was.
Yeah.
Wow, looks like I was a male Venetian too, and I might have been a female. So both had the masculine and feminine experience of being a Venetian.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
wild.
that would lead me to believe that you're from the angelic realm as well. So
Wow.
yeah. So the Venusians. I keep getting that wrong. Sorry, everyone.
Venusians.
Venusians are
Okay.
lots of angelic types come from the planet Venus, which makes sense, the planet of love. So I guess there's training there and so forth. So that's where my memories are. So maybe we can look at that in the future. We can talk about the angelic realm, unless you want to do it now. It's up to you.
How do you want to ask the question?
Just keep it simple. Are you from the angelic realm? So the angelic realm is basically not everyone is chosen for the angelic realm. It's kind of like being a special forces soldier. You have to be of a certain temperament. You have to go through certain training, and then you get your wings. And so some of us here on Earth, have wings, and
That's a big old yes.
yeah, because I saw wings on you, so I was like, I don't want to like say you have wings, So it's kind of fun to go at it in this direction. Good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boy, it was like blowing that one up for you. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's wild. Yeah, two yeses. I got another yes. Oh my goodness. That must have been why an angel came to visit me. I was talking, I called it smack talking angel, angel workers. I was like laughing about them and being kind of silly about it. And in a tarot class I was teaching, I was kind of making jokes about angel readers, which was totally uncalled for. And I'm apologizing at this point for that. But I was being kind of egotistical and saying how silly they were. And then an angel was waiting for me in my car and literally sitting there, and was very well good humored about it actually, but just filled me in on how angels are with me always. And this particular angel was sent to, remind me of my connection with that realm. And it was fascinating. It was a
Wow.
really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, boy, did I get put in my place, but in a really kind way.
Well, that's good. It's really nice. When you admit that you're a little bit off and you apologize for stuff. I've been doing a lot of that, over the last several years. So it really helps to clear things.
Yep.
So now we're gonna leap into another area. Okay, will cure passports cause the pushback needed to awaken the world and ignite the white hat response? So let me clarify a little bit. So there's a lot of countries seem to be kind of pushing back on these passports that are being required in a lot of countries, and it seems to be creeping in, in a lot of areas, even here in the U.S. So is that the thing? And this is what Juan O'Savin said as well, that is going to be the line in the sand for people. And I'm just curious, because it seems to be, is that the case? Is people awakening to that and saying, no, this is enough of this. We're going to push back.
They're absolutely trying to push it, so you push back. So they're trying to, there's overstepping. It's totally overstepping. If you think about it, it makes no sense that they'd even so fast go to that when they have the science doesn't back it up. Whenever it was taken to court recently in Canada, they even had to admit verbally, very high ups in the government, they had to verbally admit that they actually don't have the science to even isolate the thing.
Wow.
So it's all, the science doesn't back it up at all. So yes, it's the desire of the white hats to get people thinking for themselves and individual groups and coming together as individuals, not getting saved, but actually saving themselves and going, no, we say no to this. We're not consenting to being used this way anymore. It's part of us undoing the programming. It's part of the undoing.
Wow, that's fantastic. So that's really good insight, and I think that everyone should really focus on that and see how they can push back in a peaceful way. Like you were talking about, there was court case where they just couldn't prove. Yeah, you guys are right. Yeah, we've been messing with you all this time. So it's not a it's getting to the point now where everybody's going, okay, enough of this. You guys are going to get yourselves in trouble. You're going to get spanked. So
Yep.
Gavin Newsom, will he be reelected governor September 14th here in not here, I'm not there anymore, in California, way back over there on the other side of the country for me now. But is he going to be reelected governor?
Is he a baddie?
He is a baddie. He's pushed mandates stronger than any other state out of all 50 states. He's been extremely severe with it. Got a lot of stuff. He's been exposed for not having mask on. His children just recently, I think I just saw the headline today. He's saying that children need to wear a mask in school, and his child was at a basketball camp, and everyone at the basketball camp was not wearing masks. So there's some problems. A lot of people are kind of fed up with him. That's why we're having a recall. So what do you think?
Interesting. So he looks like he was already pulled aside and made deals, and he's being puppeted. So whatever he's doing and any exposure they're doing on him is already known to the white hats. So this guy's literally being shadow governed by white hat. So he's in on the movie. So if he does get in again, and there's a big potential that he might. Okay, so that's interesting. If he does, it's because it's part of the movie, not because anything he says is going to hold, or that he's being puppeted by the good guys right now. So they got him.
Yeah, good. That's what I've been saying, that actually, that he's already been taken out, but not taken away.
Yeah.
So he has been I think puppeted, like you're saying. Now, as far as like going forward, I think there's different timelines. We know that things can change on an instant. That's the way war is. I've been in combat, most of my life. We'll have a spectacular plan, and it'll change literally within the helo, going to the site where we're going to go do the operation. And there's a quick, this is what we're going to do now. And then even on the ground, sometimes we'll quick huddle, and this is what we're going to do now. So there's constant changes. Most people want to okay, this is what we're going to do. That way they can just click their brains off and just go through the motions. But you have to have a constant involvement, intellectually, spiritually, and so forth, to play this war right now, play this game. And it's very unfortunate. I think a lot of people just click it off because they can't handle it. But if you're intuitive like we are, you can. It's easy. The way that intuitives work, it's a very clean process. The information comes through instantaneously. It's not a racking your brain and trying to make a decision. It's like, oh, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I? No, you know what to do in an
Yeah.
instant. Mhm. So I think that there's a potential, and I said it when I saw that maybe he was going to run, that Larry Elder could be governor. He's a Black conservative. Um, let me pull up, I'm going to pull up a few talking points that he had, and then we'll look at that and see if he's possibly the guy. Here it is. Okay, so he's a conservative talk radio host. I followed him for quite some time. Really good points. He's saying that he's talking about Newsom. He says this man has presided over the most severe coronavirus lockdown in all 50 states. People lost their jobs. People lost their livelihoods. Meanwhile, his own private business kept open and his own kids remained in in-person private schools. So he goes on to say, this is a perfect storm: crime, homelessness, declining school standards, rising price of homes, and the way the guy has shut down the economy. It's looking like he's trying to do it again before the election, of course, causing thousands of people to lose their small businesses. This is an intervention. So that's what he's saying. He says he's taken in, if not you, who, and if not now, when. So I believe I saw that he had a strong potential to actually win. What do the cards say? Is that a potential possibility? Not so much, or?
So all of it feels like, in a way, he's got it already in the bag, but they're waiting because there might be a reason they need for the movie for the other guys. So I got a feeling they're waiting to see how people react. It's like they are gauging everybody's reaction. Is California ready to make that change, or do they still need to be pushed? By letting this draconian guy in again, like that could really shock a lot of people. So I feel like this is all part of the movie. The whole, I hate to say it, but the whole whatever's going on with who they actually get in there is all going to be orchestrated.
Right.
Even though that sounds really not very fun for people to hear. It's all going to be orchestrated like it has been by the dark side for all this time. The good guys flipped it all around and they're orchestrating stuff now, but they're doing it for our good. I really do feel that.
Yeah, it's tough love. It's kind of like, when I was a BUD/S instructor, we hammered the students pretty hard during Hell Week. And that was so that when you actually did go into combat, you learn to think like I was talking about earlier. Things change on a dime. You can't just click your mind off and think that things are going to work out the way you have planned them, because life is not like that. And neither is combat, neither is war. So the training that I went through and the training that I pushed people through prepared me so that when I actually did go into combat, it was like a walk in the park, quite honestly. And that's because we were pushed so hard. So a lot of people are being challenged, let's say, not pushed, because pushing, people think that I'm physically or someone's physically pushing you. No, you're being challenged. So, and that was the way it was in Hell Week. That everyone was being challenged. They weren't physically pushed. It was like, okay, you guys are going to get colder than you've ever been in your life, and you're going to be more tired than you've ever been in your life, and blah blah blah. So let's see how you handle it. And then the guys that really wanted to push into that and kept going were the ones that continued. It's very, very few people do that. Now, even though I don't think a lot of people are waking up completely, like we're talking about right here, there could be enough that have awakened that we could put a really good guy in there to make things really start to take off. Otherwise, if not enough people have made it through Hell Week and see, the bigger picture, then we get more Hell Week.
Yeah.
So that's
a really good way to put it. That's a really good.
And that's really all across the spectrum. That's what everyone in the entire world is going through.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrencies, part of the quantum financial system of the future, or not so much. a lot of us have talked about this. A lot of us have viewpoints. A lot of people don't even have any clue whatsoever. So let's maybe give some people some insights on what maybe the future will hold. Because of course, everything can change on a dime. But I foresee that that could be something that we might see in the future. So let's see.
Yeah. There's going to be some absolutely going forward, and they're going to start really showing themselves in August and September. So I don't know what I mean by that. I feel like maybe they're going to start getting stronger, the ones that will survive whatever's going on right now with the
Right.
financial world, the world of finance, the world of the stock market. I feel like some of them are going to really excel and some of them are going to get left by the wayside. So
Right.
it's going to be sort of separate the good, the stuff with the lasting power, but it's absolutely coming into the world.
Nice.
So that's the world card, and it's got to have a lot of strength to get these two cards. So there's going to be ones that really come forward into the new financial sort of reality that people are going to be living in. But I don't get the entire world goes just crypto. I've never got that. I think we're still going to have cash for some years. Whenever I look at it, I get that'll stick around for like 8 years anyway.
Yeah.
So there's still going to be, there's time to transition and time to get used to it. And, but it's absolutely coming up.
Very good. Yeah, that's definitely what I saw too. So it's nice to get another angel's opinion. So what do you think? It's like, yeah, that's not so much, or yes, that's something that's a possibility. So thanks a lot for that. I think that'll help a lot of people out, because I've been kind of beating that drum a little bit. I'm pretty confident on it. So it's good to see, someone else that's intuitive get the same feel for it. What will happen with Cuba? Is Cuba going to be free finally? And is that going to be something that happens soon, or is there going to be a very tough transition for them? What's it look like for Cuba?
So they're moving out of troubled water. Not fast, like it's happening over time. It's not going to happen overnight, but they've begun and done the right steps towards, and it looks like they're getting off-world or help, spiritual help, universal help, maybe even some off-world help. I feel like there's all kinds of help hovering over and going to help the people of Cuba. So that's good to know. They are also having some background shadow government help. So that's interesting. So even their government, a lot of them could have been flipped by what we call the white hats, because there's deals being made in the background, and their government may appear to be having a certain amount of power still. I don't know if that's true with that card. I feel like secretly they also have a shadow government, and they're going to be helped through this. So whatever's going on, I feel like the people did exactly what they needed to do to get themselves slowly but surely moving out of that way of life forever, because this is a moving out of troubled water. Cause to celebrate, but maybe not right away. It's going to still going to take time to really see it. But they're moving into a good place, but it's over time. It's still a struggle for a while.
Very good. Yeah. So yeah, I have a connection. It's a past lifetime connection. I was William Randolph Hearst, and I was part of, like, pushing the last war to save them from Spain. And it seems like they slipped back into a negative control system again, unfortunately, with the communists. So I think that that's being broken, like you said. There's lots of different help that's going on. I get that feel. I got the feel that is the same thing, that they had broken it and they are going to be free.
Yep.
But yeah, of course, it's going to take time, because we're looking at, America right now is not free. Canada's not free. So there's a lot of other countries all around the world right now that are not completely free. So it would be a gross anomaly that they would be the first one to be free, which is not a big deal. That'd be great if they were. But I think that other dominoes have to fall first. But they're part of that process of helping other people wake up. because they're being used in a positive way as, look, they're not being supported by most of the world right now, and they should be, because they're trying to have their own freedom. And of course, they've been suppressed. And I think the whole world wants to go communist. So they're kind of like trying to shut that down, but it's like rearing its head for everybody to see.
I got this interesting download while you were talking. There's something they have that they forgot they had. It's a resource, or maybe some of them didn't forget they had, and it's going to really bring them wealth in the future. And it's been repressed and kept hidden from them. So they have a wealth of something very unique that a lot of people, once they know about it, will want. And that's going to really help them rise as in the world again, and get their mojo back, and create, like the universe says, I'm getting the feeling they were given this gift to help them rebuild themselves, and it's something they have within their country, and it's going to physically create abundance in their country, but it's been repressed and hidden from them. So once they figure that out, and they're really close to it, some of them even already know about it, it's going to take them out of the kind of repression they've been feeling once this government's out of the way. And so it'll give them big abundance in the future.
Wow, that's fantastic. That makes a lot of sense too, because the same thing is going on in Haiti, where they just discovered that they have unbelievable oil reserves, and they have mountains of tritium. Tritium is the little thing that those of us that do shooting, tritium is in our sights. It glows. So tritium is used in a lot of different things. They have mountains of it. So they had an asteroid or something that crashed into Haiti. So I have the feeling that there is something there in Cuba as well, because there's definitely some Atlantean cities right off the coast of there, in deep water, and they've been discovered but suppressed. So maybe there's something, it has something to do with that. We'll see in the future. But yeah, I think that there's some kind of something that is going to make them very wealthy in the future. And this is something they needed to do, because they've had help, for many times to free themselves from tyranny from other sources. And now when they do it themselves, just like when Americans or Canadians or French or Britons or whoever, they free themselves from tyranny, they have the joy and the peace of mind that they did it themselves. It wasn't somebody that came in and rescued them, like has happened many times throughout history. All right, so that moves us into Venezuela. So I think the same thing is going to happen to Venezuela. Of course, Venezuela, as we know, has incredible oil reserves that have been basically shut down because they don't have the wherewithal to bring it out of the ground, because they ran everybody off that did. So I think that that's going to turn around too. What do you see for Venezuela?
Yeah, they had the really dark past here as far as deep state and cult sort of stuff going on there. Really messy, lots to clean up. There's still some battles in Venezuela between, the good guys and the bad guys, literally in the spiritual war. So I feel like they haven't fully really got, like in some countries, they've really got in the background, they're fully in charge, the good guys, what we call the white hats, or what I call the white hats. But I feel like that's still there's still some areas that are not controlled. So they're still deeply controlled by the bad guys. But that's shifting, and there's a positive shift card next to it. So that feels like that's moving over swiftly to the good, right? But we're taking the temperature of it right now. So we've got this karmic justice card. So karmic justice is coming, and I feel like nature and the world of spirit, so the spirit world, is going to actually really come in the end to this place. and make a big shift. So some kind of a natural and nature oriented shift happens that really pushes this over to being a place that's livable and doesn't have the darkness that it's had as far as like yucky energy in it. Like,
Yeah.
so there's going to be an act of God, goddess, or universe, whatever. Like lots of people have different ways of saying that.
Mm.
So nature is going to claim it back for the people. So
Yeah.
that's interesting. Like the final thing doesn't feel like it's even the white hats. It feels like it's actually nature.
Wow. And that could explain why there's during times like this, there's massive earth change events that and that seems a lot of people are seeing those coming, myself included. So it, I don't wish, bad things on anyone, but sometimes it has to happen to, and like we were talking about, some people have chosen to be here just for a period of time, and then they check out. So
Yeah.
we're going to see probably, unfortunately, a lot of that happening going forward. Not on a very, very massive scale, but there will be, some losses.
Mhm.
So that's good to have that contrast, because that's the way I feel too. Venezuela still has some work to do. And so some of us think that, once one place is freed and clear, it's going to be, the dominoes are going to fall very quickly. No, we're seeing, even in the US, we have, Arizona that has done, a forensic, thingy. They, even though they have, justified why they should do that, and it's very obvious, it's still not happening very quickly, with the other states. So it's a drawn out process. We talked about this before in another, time when we came together and talked. So it's going to be the same thing. So people think that, once one country, maybe US, turns and is freed, that it's going to be very quick for every other country. No, I think it's going to take time. And Venezuela, I think, is going to be one of those countries. Is going to be one of the last to come around. And it could be, like we're talking about, it could be a natural event that really pushes it over. All right, beautiful. Wow, we're like getting some magnificent stuff. So, did people labeled as leftist, being Antifa and BLM, cause a peaceful protest to be disrupted and mislabeled, like the event on January 6th, the Trump, the Mr. T rally? Are they being paid to cause trouble?
Yep. So there's still orchestration from afar, so that somebody's safely orchestrating it from a distance. Who knows? That could be the children of the Soros guy. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe from a distance, because I don't believe he's still around, by the way. I'm pretty sure it's just his, they're just using his name. But anyway, so yes. And sending out people that are then gathering other people. And so it's like so far removed from who's actually doing it. Okay, so it would be really hard to trace it back to the people that are actually doing it. So yeah, there's people being paid.
Definitely.
And they're involved in it, so they get given money.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an emotional decision for them, it's literally financial. So they're not doing it for any kind of, because they actually believe in a cause or anything. They're just literally it's just all about the paycheck.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why they emptied out a lot of the prisons, so they could get a lot of those folks to go along with that. So now we move into, this kind of flows into the next one, negative extraterrestrials, Draco, have been removed, I believe, have been removed from control. Are their minions still trying to control, albeit without finesse, like was happening before? And that's why we're seeing such chaos, and they're obviously right out in the open with their manipulations and machinations and so forth. So are the negative ETs really gone, and are their former minions still trying to keep the show going?
So to the first part of your question is a yes, so they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they used very creative ways to get those guys gone. Yeah, but yeah, so they're little warriors. So you call them minions, so that makes sense. Yeah, they have the followings that are still indoctrined to that belief, and were probably programmed. Some of them are the leaders of them anyway. So their programming is still continuing, even if there's nobody to report back to.
Well, that
So
was a
yeah,
cool card. Have you ever seen what minions are? The minions are like little round yellow blobs.
wow, just like that movie
Yeah,
with those little minions. They were all
yeah,
just little blobs. Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So that card was, bunch of,
Yeah, that's funny.
yeah, there it is. How about that? Huh?
Yeah, that's a whole community. So in their community.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's cool. So a lot of people think that, oh no, they're going to take over. No, they're desperate because the real leadership and the people that were really
Yeah.
running the show with finesse and
Yeah.
and for thousands of years are gone. So these guys are still trying to keep the show going. It would be
Don't
like,
have the money.
it would be like the prisoners gain control of the prison and they're running it, and
Yeah.
they don't have like, where do we get the food? Where does the water come from? And the guys on the outside are slowly turning everything out. The electricity gets turned off,
Yeah.
there's no
Yeah.
more deliveries, and that's what
Yeah.
we got the White House doing with these guys right now.
Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Mhm.
All right. Are people testifying at the January 6th investigation knowingly and willingly, because I believe they are, and I pointed this out, lying to misdirect the real truth of what happened on that day? And I'll call it a black flag event, so we don't draw any.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. They look like they were hired to do that very thing. So they're
Mhm.
literally making money from it.
Absolutely.
So, wow. And they're saying what's the desired outcome. So they're describing things for the desired outcome of the reaction to it by the
Right.
powers that be. So
Yep.
there's a desired outcome that they're looking for. So these people were approached, it looks like, in the background, because this is the background card that we might not know about. It's called the hidden influence card. They were approached a long time before even to do this. So if people can prove that they were actually contracted, almost, maybe not in writing, right? But somehow they were already contacted a long time ago. That would prove what I'm saying here, I think.
That's beautiful. Good insight. Wow. And for those that are trying to bring light to that, that would be a good way to do that. Maybe they even have that. And it's waiting for the right, like, let all these people come out and do their testimony, which is all full of lies and deceit and emotions. So it should be just what is the truth?
Yep.
What was your position? Let's see the video. And we're not seeing any videos of these guys that are testifying. So I'm like, yeah, I look at them. I'm a professional. I can look at another professional and say, yeah, that's a professional, or no, that's a wannabe that is being puppeted. So that's what I got from all those guys that are testifying right now. So was that so-called riot in the Capitol stage event? I think we've already, you just basically said that pretty much, that people were paid to do that. I think we covered that. That's good. And is Mr. T, went the wrong way, sorry. Okay, so now we move into one other thing that happened during that event. Is Ashley Babbitt still alive? So she was the one that was supposedly shot at the Capitol.
Alive and well. Absolutely. And when it first happened, I got that too.
Wow.
She's in comfort.
Yes.
She's in comfort. So maybe she got paid really well to do that or something, because
Absolutely.
she's in, this is comfort and luxury. or
Mhm.
being kept somewhere comfortable.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. And somebody funded that whole thing, and that feels like that S guy again, or his people.
Right. So so I and some other people know that there are negative groups within the military that stage these events, and they use military personnel to do that. So Ashley Babbitt, supposedly former Air Force, she was still Air Force, and still being probably paid on another program. And her husband was too, her former husband, or that's what they say. I don't know. So I think probably they still see each other very quietly. So I got right away that was a stage event, because when I was in SEAL Team 6, that was one of the first places we started to use actors like that. And we'd have large groups. They started to go out into the military and canvas military for people that would be role players, that would come in and be resistance to us, would be people that had died, or people that were wounded. So they had, like, mock-up scenes where, it had blood shooting out of somebody, and our medics had to come up and take care of all kinds of different scenarios. So I've seen these people in a lot of these events, over the years. And I'm like, yeah, same. And a lot of us have pointed out, yep, the same actor that was at this event is now at this event, is now at this event and that event. So we're seeing the same stuff. She looks like a role player to me. Absolutely. Always looked like a role player to me. The police that came up. Okay, go ahead.
That's a yes.
Yeah.
As you talk, that's a yes.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
All right, crush that one, crushed it. And it was pretty much 100% intuitive hit on my side. So it's good to see, it's the cards are bringing it up too. So they want us to know this, and I think we will know this. So when you see people asking, where is the shooter of Ashley Babbitt? There was no shooter of Ashley Babbitt. It was all staged event. So that's why there is no one being prosecuted. Now that we're bringing this up like this, maybe they will, because everybody's really going to go, well, what? So, because I've seen some stuff that we've talked about hit the news after we say it. And so we're watched. And that's good, because we're basically helping to awaken consciousness, and they don't want that. Or we're basically awakening consciousness to the point where the white hats, like we're talking about, go, oh, we can move now. We can start to roll on this. So that's another thing that happens with this information as well. So the next one was, if so, what's your willing conspirator? And you answered that question too. Very good. And actually is living in comfort right now, somewhere out of the limelight, and will not be discovered for a little while. But I think at some point, she and other conspirators like her are going to face the music. All right, I've said this for quite some time. I said, I've seen the Democrat Party no longer in existence in the future. Are they actually going to fade away like the old? There was a Whig Party back during just before Abraham Lincoln was elected. He was the first member that was elected of the Republican Party, and there was a Whig Party before that. I think he even actually belonged to the Whig Party, and then transferred over to become a Republican. Is that party going to cease to exist in the near future?
Well, there's a lot of disappointment around politics, politicians in general, and a lot more to come out that's going to be very worrisome and disappointing to the public that aren't watching videos like this. Right? So sleepers, right? So so they get all politics on some level get stepped away from, and we're going to have to recreate it. This person goes away and rethinks everything. So they're feeling like nothing's working for them, and they're going to rethink everything. And that's what the human race is going to do. So it's going to go step away from even who you think are good good politics,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because
Yep.
it's all been compromised if you look
Whole
at it.
system,
And
yeah.
I think, yeah, Mr. T kind of pointed that out. Like just letting these guys, even on his own team, sort of show themselves to be not on side. You know what
Right.
I mean? So it's not about this team or that team,
Mhm.
this political group or that. They're all suspect and involved at this point. So it looks like we're gonna have to recreate from scratch what maybe some all new teams. I'm gonna
Yeah.
call them teams.
Yeah, very good. I think that's going to be across the entire spectrum,
Yeah.
not just politics, but also religion and
Mhm.
educational system, you name it, system is going to get recreated.
Yeah.
It's going to be looked at a lot differently because, people like us, we're going to look at stuff and we're like, that ain't right. No, that can't happen. Or no, you can't come into our team because you're not a good person. We see that, we see right through you. So a lot of that's going to be happening, and is already happening now. And
Yeah.
and as we move forward, it picks up momentum, and
Mhm.
more of that disclosure happens, and people will fall to the wayside, just like the Democrat Party. It's very small, initially small groups of Republican Party will fall away and then replaced with a better system, and eventually the whole system, like you said, collapses, and we go with something else. That's excellent. So there's one other question that's kind of like a little bit off subject, but what cards would you recommend? So I've had a lot of people ask me, what does Janine recommend? So can you ask her? I'm like, okay. So what cards for tarot do you recommend?
Well, if somebody's a beginner, just to learn the ABCs, I would recommend the Rider Waite that I use because it's really simple and it's the most recognizable. And a lot of people say, well, the people behind it, some of them in particular, the fellow behind it. So there was a woman involved who painted and did the artwork. And then there was this fellow, and he's supposed to be a real, maybe even a dark cult guy. Okay, but the woman who painted the pictures was really, really a good person. So I have a feeling you need the dark side and the light
Mhm.
coming together to make a good deck. I know it sounds weird, but
Yeah.
if you want to go spy on the dark side, you need to have a little insight into them. Cards that are
Excellent.
completely just generated by only goodness and like, for instance, there's a round deck, the goddess deck. I can't remember exactly what it's called now, but it's round and it's one of the only round decks and it's lovely. But when you use it, it only gives you a certain perspective. And I never felt like it gave me the whole picture. So certain decks that have the combination of the dark side influencing
Brilliant.
and the light, and then a really good reader gets hold of that who has only integrity. I feel like I might be one of those. And I use it with only integrity towards good. And I can really even go into the dark places, being as I got a Scorpio moon. So I've been in those dark places. I know exactly what's over there and I'm not afraid of it. So if you got a reader like that, they can use a deck like that and not be swayed over to the dark side because it's an equal balance of good and bad there. And we need that to understand the world.
Very nice. And what was the name of that deck one more time?
The Rider Waite.
The Rider Waite.
Yeah, it's one of the most common decks, and most
Okay.
decks are created from the that deck. They use that deck as a reference.
Nice. Okay. Great insights. Wow. And that's the way I felt. I feel that I have been as a special forces guy. I can get into the minds of the baddies, and I can act like them. I can look like them, but of course, I'm full of integrity, and I do things ultimately for the good.
Mhm.
So as we like to do, what would you like to talk about before we sign off?
Okay, what I wanted to say earlier was I love that you use words like scatterbrained. You said that right at the beginning, and that my mom used to call me scatterbrained, which is really funny because an intuitive person, and of course I would have been even when I was little, right, seems scatterbrained to people because they're they're pulling all of these strings from all of these different places like we just did on this show. So there's all of these things, but we wove it together And, you know, it all starts to make sense when so we're hitting on all of these things all over what's happening in the world, but wove them together into the big picture. And it takes kind of that kind of creative mind to do that, right? It's so important, but would be seen by a lot of people as scatterbrained, but what in fact is a kind of multi-dimensional thinking is what I would think it would be called.
Yeah,
I just wanted to mention that.
yeah, thank you. Yeah. So it's you know, we're looked down upon, like you said, sometimes, but I think that's one of one of our finer points, that we can be in a lot of different places at once. And a lot of people are like that I've worked, especially the guys that I've worked with over time, are very, very linear. And one thing, you know, one thing, this comes first, that comes second, and this comes third. Don't get out of, get it out of line. It's like, it's like, I'm already at 3. Why? So, but that's the way a lot of people think, and I think that as we move forward, that quantum level of you know, thinking and being able to pull in multiple you know, pieces of information all at once and being able to look at them, because I don't look with blinders on. I'm always wide angle vision. So as I'm looking right now, I can see my hands. You know, so I'm taking in the entire room. I can see cars. There's like a window that's over here. You can see cars going on the road. I'm looking at my pool at the same time. I'm looking at you. So yeah, I can do lots of multiple things at once. So everyone thinks that, no, I have to like focus on one thing at a time. No, get out of that. Be intuitive. Open your mind and take in more information. You can. It's easy. It can happen. So is that what you want to share? Okay, that's beautiful. And you know, thanks again for coming in. Hope everyone has had a fabulous time. I always have a great time when we get together, and always look forward to our time together. So thanks so much for coming in.
I feel like you're reading me when I come. You start off and you're telling me these things about myself I didn't know. It's brilliant, because my whole career was telling people things they didn't know about themselves. But then now I come on this show and you're reading me. It's brilliant. I just want to thank you.
Yeah, now that I'm like that with everyone. At first, I'm like, I just get oh, they're like this, and then, but over time, I see deeper aspects of everyone. You know, so it's fun to work with somebody, and especially on this kind of level, because then I really get to see super deep into other aspects of them. And I know you're open to that. You're not embarrassed by that, or you know, wigged out by it or anything like that. So it's good. All right.
Awesome.
Lots of love to you and to all of our audience. And I hope you guys have gotten a lot out of it. We look forward to every other Wednesday we get together and have the intuitive insight. So look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Good.